This time at the Quick Speed Shop, I'm going to show you how to change the throttle position sensor on the throttle body on this 95 5.8 liter Ford F-250. Okay, so this will apply to I think a lot of these throttle bodied engines. I think the 302 and the 351, probably from the 87 to 97 model range. But don't quote me, but I think that's what it is. So I'm getting a check engine light. I've used my my plug over in the fender well, and I've got an old handheld reader that does OBD1 testing, and it's telling me that the throttle sensor is out of range. So the throttle position sensor right here, I think, is bad. So the only problem with this is Ford put it way down here on the bottom of the throttle body. So the location of this is way down here on the bottom of the throttle body down here. You probably can't even really see it right now. And it's got two Phillips head screws that screws up to the bottom of the throttle body. So in order to get to that, I've got to take this entire throttle body assembly off here. I've got a coolant line going here to the top of the throttle body. Then I got a coolant line coming out. So I'm going to have to drain the level of the water and the radiator down below the top of the engine here, so I don't get a whole river of coolant coming out. And disconnect the throttle linkage and the cruise control cable here, mass airflow sensor, whatever this is. And I got the EGR, which should be out of the way. Actually, it mounts the bracket here at the EGR valve. I've got a vacuum solenoid here, a couple other things to disconnect to pull. Then there's 4 10mm bolts, I think they are, to pull this throttle body off. And then we can put the new sensor down here on the bottom of the throttle body, and then put it all back together. So I can drain the coolant, then we'll get all this stuff unplugged and pull this throttle body off and get to the sensor. Very well, coolant's draining. I've gone ahead and I've unplugged the I guess mass airflow sensor here, and I also did the Christmas tree out of the bracket back here, so this wire is now loose. I went and I disconnected the 2 vacuum lines, one up here, one down low. Let's come over here. I'm also going to pull this vacuum line off here. That'll release all this from the thing, and a Christmas tree off this bracket. This bracket mounts behind off the one stud of the EGR valve. Probably got to take this off because the EGR is bolted to the manifold, so this bracket will stay and hold this on unless I take it off. So I'll take that bracket off, and when the coolant gets drained down, I'll move the upper and lower hoses. These here, let's see how this comes off. Should just pull off like that, bam. So I disconnected the throttle cable. The EGR can stay hooked up, and the wire for the throttle position sensor comes around the back side, and it plugs in over here down below. I'll pop this bracket off. It looks like a 13mm, and the 4 10mm screws in the throttle body should come right off. It sounds like my coolant level is down. I'm going to shut the radiator off, and then we'll disconnect the lines here and get her unbolted. These factory style clamps here, if you don't have the correct tool, easy way to get these off is to use a pair of vice grips to squeeze them and hold them, pull back, just like that. Pull the upper hose off, and then the lower hose I've replaced just recently. I think it's going to be easier to get to it down here on the front of the water next, so I'm going to take it off down there. There we go. Get the lower coolant hose off down here. So the upper one's disconnected. Everything is disconnected here. The EGR electric is my head in the way. I disconnected the temperature coolant sensor here just because it was in the way. Push that down here out of the way, but everything is free from the throttle body now. These are actually 3/8 bolts, not 10mm. I thought they were metric, but they're 3/8. So I'll just go ahead and pop these suckers out. Now you are going to want to order a new throttle body gasket when you do this job, because I believe that the gasket will be ripped when it comes apart here from being stuck together. So you always want to get a throttle body gasket when you take this off. When I get this last bolt out, we'll be golden here. Alright, there we go. Don't drop it. Bam. Here's our throttle body right here. You see that? You see the little bit of carbon, see the gasket gets shot. So I just got to go here, and the wire, lay this up here like this. So here's the throttle position sensor that we're going to change. Here's the wire for it here. Let's go ahead and I'll unplug this guy. Oop, a little bit of coolant coming out. There we go, bam. Got the throttle body off here. Like I said here, the gasket's going to need to be replaced on the throttle body. Just going to go ahead and peel this off so no chunks get in there while we're, in case the wind blows or anything. So I'll clean this up with a razor blade. You can see your EGR passage in the center here where it recirculates gas in there, but here we go. So now I'll take the throttle body inside on the bench and we'll change out the sensor. I'm using a genuine Motorcraft part. Here's the part number if you can see that on the end of there. So you gotta take these two Phillips head screws out. I'm just gonna give them a very light tap. I've got this gently held in the vise. Give them a little shock in case there's any corrosion holding there. I got my good screwdriver here. So I'm gonna try to attempt to bust these screws loose. See how we make out here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Not looking good there. There's one. Try grabbing this with a pair of vice grips. See if you can get it to grab the head and coax her loose. Aha! Here we go. Saved it. Bam. Now there was no instructions with this. So hopefully it just goes right on there like that. Here's our little doohickey on the bottom of the throttle plate. Just clean this up just a little bit. There's a little rubber or neoprene seal on there. So where's my new sensor? Is right here. That was on there like this. This one's going to go on like this. Just like it. So, and it's laid out the same on the bottom here. So that's good. What I am going to do, I'm going to give her a little shot of fluid film here to prevent corrosion. Keep her working nice. Come on, baby. Maybe. Now that I've coated that down, I'm just going to take it and simply set it right back on here, like so. Well, there we go. Dropped in place now. Take my screws and put them back. Can't really see that because my hand's in the way. Just go ahead and screw these guys right back down. I've cleaned off my mating surface here on the throttle body. I also, on the intake manifold, I also took some cleaner and I cleaned the inside of the throttle body off. So we're just going to go ahead and stick this guy back on here. Hung the gasket on the two top bolts. That will make it easier to get along here. And just snug everything up first and go around and tighten it up all the way once everything's snugged down evenly. Bam, it's just that easy. Now all that's left here is to reattach everything that I removed. Put the lower coolant line on here. Got the plug for the coolant sensor, which I need to wait until I get the hose clamp put back on for the lower coolant line. I always like to put a little dielectric grease on my plugs here just to keep corrosion out. I got my vacuum lines hooked back up. I can put the throttle linkage back on here. It's plugged in, and go ahead and I'll put my upper coolant hose on. Get the clamp for that in a second. That's plugged in. Last thing to do is plug in the new sensor over here. Alright, so that's just that easy. A couple of simple hand tools. It's about a half-hour job to do this. And everything worked out good. I'm just going to leave this upper coolant hose loose. I'm going to pull this off when I add the antifreeze to push the air out the system up here. And then I'll tighten that down. But everything else is complete. I'll put the air hose on and hopefully this will fix my throttle out of range problem I had on this truck with this brand new throttle position sensor. So that's it. I hope you found this video useful and you can work on your Ford truck and get it fixed as well. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe. I'm putting out new videos every Wednesday and Saturday. Hit the bell for alerts. Tell your friends. And as always, I'll see you right back here at the Quick Speed Shop for old Ford truck tinkering, hot rod builds, scrounging, junkyard runs, reviews, and whatever else is going on here at the Quick Speed Shop.